Hi, we're in the book of Matthew, and we've come to chapters 26 through 28, which is the last section of the book of Matthew. We've talked about the opening section, which is chapters 1 through 4. Then we talked about the 5 speeches that Jesus gives. Now we're coming to the crucifixion and the resurrection of Jesus and the great commission that he gives to his disciples. Now, there's this really interesting verse in chapter 26 when Jesus is having the Last Supper with his disciples. At the end of the dinner, they go out to the Mount of Olives. And while they go out, they're singing hymns. This tiny little detail that Matthew throws in his book. But remember, Matthew's book is about God forming a new Exodus people. The original Exodus people in the Torah were God's people coming out of Egypt. And now God is forming a new people, both of Jews and Gentiles, a new Exodus people that are coming out of darkness and sin and death into the kingdom of light. So why would Matthew put that in his book? Verse 30 of chapter 26. He's actually replaying Psalm chapter 113 through Psalm 118. Now, I said originally the 5 speeches of Jesus, they line up and mirror the 5 sections of the book of Psalms. In chapter 26, verse 30, when it says they were singing hymns, it wasn't just any kind of hymn. They were actually singing hymns 113, 114, 15, 16, 17, and 18 in the Psalms. Those 6 chapters replay the actual story of the Exodus from the Old Testament. So when it says Jesus went out with his disciples singing the hymn on the way to the Mount of Olives, it was a very specific hymn that they were singing, and it was the hymn of the Exodus. So what Jesus is doing with his disciples, they're rejoicing because a new Exodus people is being formed, and Jesus knows it's going to be through his death and resurrection.